Hello and welcome to the Emotionally Fit Humans podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Taylor. I've designed this podcast to support you in becoming emotionally fit, to deepen the experience of leadership and life. I empower leaders to navigate change, creating trusting, efficient and confident teams. Specialising in leadership and human behaviour, I know the quality of the relationship we have with ourselves directly impacts the quality of our experiences. Join me on this journey of getting intimate in discovering the amazing human you are to be able to better support those that we lead and care about. Thank you for joining me. Now let's become emotionally fit humans together. And welcome back to the Emotionally Fit Humans podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Taylor, and it's so great to be here with you today for episode 6, Stop Playing Roles, How to Lead and Live Authentically. And today I want to talk about something that sits not just at the heart of leadership, but of life itself. It's the struggle of constantly switching from role to role to role and quite never feeling like you're enough in any of them. And then how to finally step into authentic leadership and authentic living. But before we get started, I would like to do a big shout out to the wonderful humans who have subscribed to this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or to my YouTube channel, Lauren Taylor Leadership. All the links are included with the show notes if you haven't done so already. So please go to the show notes and all the links are there for your easy access. Now, let's get into it. If you've ever found yourself thinking, I'm not being a great parent, a great leader, or the best version of yourself, and just jumping from one role to the next, I want you to know that you are not alone. I've been here, I've lived that chaos, and I know how exhausting and isolating it can feel. So, digging a little deeper here, why do we feel like we have to be everything to everyone all the time? For many of us, this starts early. Expectations from our family, from school, from society, from adults that we've learned from. We learn that we have to put different hats on depending on the role that we're playing to be accepted. Maybe you could be feeling like you have to be the one that everyone depends on at work, or the caring one all the time at home to smooth things over. Or maybe in a group of friends, you're the strong one that everyone comes to for the advice. But when you are constantly switching roles, you start to actually lose sight of who you truly are beneath it all. This is where imposter syndrome can creep in. You might find yourself thinking, if people really knew the real Lauren, would they respect me? Would they love me? And am I really cut out for all of the roles that I'm currently doing? I remember I look back on my journey and where I was so busy trying to be the perfect leader at school, developing a business around coaching, leadership and training, a supportive wife, yet 3 little boys and being the present mum, juggling all the balls. And I totally felt disconnected from who even is the real Lauren, from my own identity. I was always on and always performing, and it left me totally exhausted and feeling like an imposter in my own life. So I want you to pause for a moment and think, when was the last time when you truly felt at home in your own skin? Not performing, not pleasing, and not perfecting, just being. So what's the cost of all this role jumping? And as I say, it's like wearing a mask. What is the cost of that? First of all, it's your energy. Performing outside of who you truly are is exhausting. You end up depleted, resentful, and often burnt out. And I know even this morning, running an extended disc session with a group, it's performing outside of who we truly are as a human. So undertaking human behavioral profiling helped me to learn why I was exhausting myself of all energy, knowing who I am, what truly sings to my soul. So it's your energy. Undertaking this extended disc profiling helped me to learn how to conserve and maintain, how to refuel my energy. So if that's something that you're after, make certain you reach out to me. Second, it's your relationships. When you're not showing up as your true self, people can often go, "Oh, Lauren, they can sense it. Loz isn't being her true self." Even if they can't name it, they just know that something might be quite off. And this might happen in your workplace as well, where people sense that you're off a little bit. It creates a subtle distance and a lack of trust, both personally and professionally. And third, it can actually affect your sense of fulfillment. No matter how much you achieve, how many boxes you're ticking in every role that you're playing, you'll always feel like it's never enough because you're not being celebrated for who you truly are. You're just role playing. So recently I worked with a client of mine and she's worked with me for at least a period of 6 months in one-on-one sessions. She's a senior leader. She is a parent and a partner. And she described her life as spinning the plates and running from one to the other. And she was terrified that if she slowed down, she would drop them. And that if she dropped the ball, then she would never be enough. And when she looked at externally to other people, why can other people seem to handle the spinning of the plates of all the roles that they're playing? So through our coaching, what she actually realized was that she'd never actually slowed down to go, what is it that I actually want? And who am I really? Is this job, is this leadership role truly what I want? And so to become the authentic leader, she started to let go of the need to be perfect and the perfectionist, letting go of those strategies, started trusting in the people around her, and started leading from her core values. This is when her whole world shifted. She became more present with her family. Her team actually started coming to her more because she'd started to be more at peace with herself and started sharing and opening up about how she felt. So opening the doors of vulnerability. And I know that Brené Brown shares about being the vulnerable leader. So the most effective leaders, the ones who create real impact, are always authentic. Think about it. Can you name a leader that you truly admire who isn't authentic? Because I can't. So authenticity is magnetic. It builds trust, as I've mentioned. It inspires loyalty and it allows people to bring their best selves forward, their true selves. But authenticity isn't something that you achieve. It's not like a one off the list. I've got to tick that off. It's a practice. So here are 3 things that you can start doing. Start getting vulnerable and letting go of the mask. So start sharing small snippets of who you are. Start accepting that you don't have to be perfect to be impactful. and start leading from your values and being present, especially when things get tough. What's one mask that you find yourself putting on, especially when you're stressed out or under pressure? What would it feel like if you gently started to lift that mask even for a moment? So let's talk now about some practical steps here. If you want to move from chaos and performance, feeling like you're performing all the time, through to confident, calm authenticity, here's where you can start. At the end of the day, start to check in with yourself. Where did I feel most myself today? And then on the opposite hand, where did you feel like you're performing? You might like to write it all down and you start to notice some patterns along your journey. The second thing is to get clear on your top 3 values. Start living in alignment with your values. I know for me, my top 3 values are love, wisdom, and wealth. And wealth to me is spending time with the people that matter most, being present. So I work with clients that I love. I choose to experience love whenever I choose to. I grow my wisdom each day by learning and growing from people, from and growing who I am through experiencing and impacting people as I go. So what are your top 3 values? Put them somewhere that, mine are in the front of my diary. Them somewhere where you can visually see them. I know I've written them on my mirror in my bathroom: love, wisdom, and wealth. And I know that they are locked in and loaded each and every day. And my family get to see those. These guide my decisions and also help me to establish boundaries. Another way is to practice micro little elements of vulnerability. So this does not mean that you have to overshare. So authenticity does not mean oversharing. It means letting people see the real you, even in small ways. Next time you're tempted to say, I'm fine, or everything's fine, I've got this, maybe try sharing one real feeling or learning that you've noticed of yourself, and start to recognize how people around you respond to that. Now, identity work is something that I've worked a lot on, and this is one big element in my Impact Lab program. I have a core program there on emotional mastery, focusing on self-awareness, self-regulation, and self-leadership. And take the time to explore, who am I when I'm not performing? What brings me energy rather than drains it? And what is my unique perspective, like, that is unique to Lauren, that is unique to you, that you bring, that no one else can bring? Because we are all unique human beings. And this is what is included in the core part of the Impact Lab program, a whole series of work around your identity and how to show up authentically as you and genuinely as you in your leadership. When you start showing up authentically, you start to notice a ripple effect. You'll start to feel it. So I've seen leaders who let down their guard and admit that they don't have all the answers, and their teams actually rise to the occasion. I've seen parents, I've worked with parents, a number of people say, Lauren, can I work with you personally? And they let go of trying to be perfect and having everything in control. And instead they get curious and present with their children, developing deeper connections and greater level of trust in their relationships. And I know that I've experienced this myself. When I stopped trying to be everything to everyone, I found that I had more connection, a deeper connection with my family. I found that I had more freedom in less stress in how I was feeling, and more joy, not just in my work, but in my whole life. So here's the crossroads. You can keep spinning your wheels, burning out, and feeling like an imposter in the leadership role that you're in or how you're living your life. Or you can choose a new way, the pathway of authenticity, emotional fitness, and true leadership. And if you're ready to step into this, I'd love for you to enjoy in a priority waitlist that I currently have for the Impact Lab program. And this is where I'll take you through a deep dive of everything I've talked about today: your identity, values, emotional mastery, and practical tools that I share with you to live and lead authentically. So the links are included in today's show notes. And if you have any questions, please reach out, but make certain you click on the priority waitlist, and that just gives you information as it comes to hand of how you might like to become a part of the Impact Lab, so that you can start leading and living authentically as yourself. Remember, I'm cheering you on as always, and see you on the next episode.